Welcome back. You're watching Hard Copy, and I have with me here Tony Ehilebo, who is a member of the People's Democratic Party, and also Ismail Ahmed, who is a member of the All Progressives Congress Board of Trustees. Well, we're talking about, some of the factors that hinder young people from joining political parties in the very first instance. Tony, you talked about how young people sometimes get disillusioned. When you mention politics even, you already have a tag. Was that your experience as well, Ismail?
No, not necessarily. I think politics, it depends on what level you got in, for what reasons, obviously. Of course, there are those who are considered to be the, especially among the young people, they are considered to be the tools or the instruments to be used for certain reasons. And there are those who get in, and everyone knows that they are either rising political stars or whatever it is that they want to get in for. My experience in joining politics, I joined in 2002, 2003. I joined precisely because of President Muhammadu Buhari. I didn't join a political party immediately. I joined the Buhari organization at that time. We were the APP, and I participated, in my own little way. And then I joined formally the political party in 2004 after we lost the 2003 election, and I joined the party, and then we grew into CPC, and then I became part of the merger process in APC. My experience has been, I have been luckier than a lot of other people.
But I want to be more practical. I mean, I'm looking at a regular young person, for instance, who, maybe parents struggled, you went to school, primary school, secondary school, university. The first thing your parents are looking for you to do is get a job, not join a political party. And in many instances, when you tell parents that you want to join a political party, the first thing they ask you is, what for? Whatever for.
Well, the two are not mutually exclusive, to be quite honest.
Did you have that experience?
You can have a job. When I told my dad, I told him I wanted to be significant, not just successful. That I can have a good job if I wanted to because I had good results in school. I could have a good job, a nice wife, good apartment, a good job, a beautiful car, but that's all it is. It's a successful, this is my life, but I wanted to be significant. And I told him that I believe there are three things that could actually make me really significant. One, I either become a teacher or a preacher, or I could become a journalist, which I hadn't done already because I had already read law, so I was not even in the journalistic track. Or third, I could become a politician. And he said, why? I said, well, I could join a political party. I would be able to rise within that political party. I would be able to write manifestos. I would be able to hold political positions. And there I would be able to significantly change people's lives.
In other words, you faced no resistance from your father?
Absolutely not.
Did you face any from your parents?
A huge resistance. My parents were like, oh my God, you're going to join politics. People in politics, they're either in one secret cult or the other. You have to join a secret cult to be in politics. And I kept expecting that to happen. I mean, I said, okay, well, it's not happening in Abuja. And then when I went back home, I was waiting for them to come and say join. And then we went for a meeting. Were
you not scared? I mean, did you really think that was going to happen, that you had to join a secret cult?
Well, I've always had a resilient spirit. So when you tell me don't do something, I really want to find out why. I just keep asking that question, why? Why is it not? Why do you not want me to do it?
Well, you're just 4 years into it. You must still want.
No, but by the time I went back home, and it came to a head where you had to go back home and play politics locally. And the first meeting we went was some guy's house. I was like, right now, this is the time it's going to happen. And the guy starts with a Christian prayer. And throughout the meeting, I'm waiting for them to come. And it never happens. And then subsequent meetings, more meetings, and more meetings. And I'm like, this is a myth that was just put there to scare people away. This is really not, it's just about organization. It's just about getting things done. If we can look beyond the mental blocks that are put in our way, in anything we try and do in life, you'll find that you can achieve almost anything.
Do you think that sometimes you're excluded? I mean, whether or not you like it, when people talk about sacred cults, they're also talking about the inner caucuses. I mean, they believe that for you to, yes, you can be a member of a political party, but for you to really have influence, you have to join some sort of caucus. You don't feel excluded in any way?
Do you know what I've discovered about politics? Do you know where the real power is? The real power is in your polling booth. The respect you have amongst people where you're from. The fact that they will come out to vote because this person is involved. That is the real power. No clique, no cult, that doesn't determine anything in today's politics. So mostly what you need to do is be a grassroots person. What you need to do, that's the key. You need to be able to identify with your people. And that's why when political parties tell you that you need to go back home to register and participate, not necessarily where you reside, it's actually a good thing because you actually begin to relate with the people on a very personal level. And then they empathize with you, you empathize with them. As a bond, you create bonds, you begin to see problems real time. But where we stay in Abuja or Lagos and hope that we can affect change, that's not really going to happen. We really need to go back home and create a bond, create a political ground base, a ground zero for your politics.
It is interesting that you say that, but I will come to, I'll note that down now and come to that question, much later as to whether or not that is really a hindrance or whether or not it's something that really creates a bond, like you say it is. But I'm still on this issue of, joining a political party, having a regular job. I mean, both of you are self-reliant, you're self-employed. Do you think that the fact that you're both lawyers, you think that the fact that you're both self-employed has helped your your career as politicians? I'm trying to imagine if you had regular jobs, do you think it would be easy for you to be able to join a political party and be able to participate in party activities?
Certainly not when you have a 9-to-5 job. Certainly not. Maybe not at that level. Not. You see, participation, there are degrees of participation. If you have a government job, and you go 9 to 5, 5 days a week, it's going to be very hard for you to have that kind of commitment that someone like I myself or Tony would have, who have independent legal practices, and then we can. Maybe it might be difficult if you have that kind of regular 9-to-5 job. Maybe, but it still would not stop you from participating. But the degree of participation might differ, and the degree of commitment. And I'd like to also say something about grassroots politics. You see, just like participation could be in varying degrees, so also your value, your ability to be in any caucus or any kitchen cabinet or whatever it is that they call it, is the value you bring to the table. Some people bring people. That's the most important currency. Absolutely, that is true. If you bring a lot of people, because I remember there was a lot of argument, during before our primaries in 2014, when we were about to select our presidential candidate. And then there was a lot of talk. But then the question everyone keeps asking, who is going to bring at the start 12 million votes without spending a dime, other than President Muhammadu Buhari, for example? So that is a value in itself. Other people would bring value in terms of cash, for example. If you bring a lot of money, he doesn't have the people, but he has other instruments to bring to the table that is value. Others would have the propaganda instinct in them, the ability to convince people. When they talk, they bring it to the table. Other people know networking. They bring it to the table. So there are different value that you bring to the table. Depending on what you bring, your commitment level, it depends. That determines to a large extent the participation level you have in a political party, and that's just the basic mathematics of the game.
Well, that's indeed the basics. Politics 101 on hard copy, if you like. We're not the first to think about this challenge. A group of young people, prodded by a UN report on the challenge, have come up with a bill titled Not Too Young to Run. Our next edition will examine the provisions of this bill, which principally seeks a reduction in the age requirement for running for political office and advocates for independent candidacy. In the meantime, let's keep this conversation going. Tweet at CTV Hardcopy or at Maokwe and let us know your thoughts on the matter. We appreciate mails too. Write to hardcopy@channelstv.com. See you again next year. And here's wishing you a very fulfilling and prosperous 2017. Thank you for watching. I'm Maokwe Ogun.